Ghosts, demons, ghouls, and all the things that go bump in the night. All of these creatures have been well documented onto film over the years. But are they real, or are they just a trick of the camera? So before we get started, I just want to preface this video and say that I do believe in ghosts. I am a believer. I've had too many weird things happen over the years, with candles glowing in my hand, to my name showing up on voice recording apps, to having a sleep recording app tell me to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I've had my fair share of weird experiences. However, ghost photography is so extremely easy to fake. And in this video, we'll just go over how easy it is to fake. Now, one of the easiest ways to fake a ghost photo is through a long exposure. And what is a long exposure? Well, it's leaving your shutter open for an extended period of time. So if something passes through your shutter while it's still open, it'll create kind of a ghostly image because the shutter is absorbing as much light as it possibly can. So anything that comes into frame during the time that it's open, it'll capture. So for this first ghostly image, we're gonna go for a long exposure, which always creates kind of a ghostly look because the shutter is open for such a long time that when you pass through it, anything that's in motion will start to blur out. So if you stand very still for a couple seconds and then walk out of frame, you should create a transparent sort of ghostly image. And that's what we're gonna go for right here. So I have my settings at f.6, ISO 100, and my shutter speed is set to 8 seconds. And I'm gonna create just a timer on here, 10 seconds, so it lets me set up for the shot, and this should create a ghostly image. I'm just going to stand here real quick, and then I'm going to move out of frame. And as the shutter's opening, it should capture a very faint ghostly image. Yep, there it is. I'll show it on screen now. We're gonna do one more long exposure of just waving around a ghostly bed sheet. That actually looked pretty good. Yeah. I'm in the frame, but that's actually a pretty convincing ghost photo. You could be like, oh yeah, I took this, one night at the cemetery, and I don't know, it just showed up on camera. But yeah, not bad. Hey guys, just wanted to jump in here with a quick PSA. If you are going to shoot in a cemetery, even one like this, which is an old pioneer cemetery where nobody's really been buried here for 100 years, just be respectful. After all, this is somebody's final resting ground, so just be respectful of the grounds. And yeah, let's jump back to the video. So if you have a fast shutter speed and you take a photo, just everything will be captured, everything will be there. But if you leave it open for maybe 5 seconds, and anything that walks into frame, then it'll be captured. One of the telltale signs of a long exposure is if you look at water, it'll look really smooth. Or if you look at tree leaves, the tree leaves will be all blurred out, but everything else will be in focus, because everything that is moving in the frame while the shutter's open gets blurred out. For example, this famous ghost photo, it could be a ghost, or the popular theory is, since this was a 6-second exposure, somebody just bumped the camera while it was taking the photo and created this weird warping effect, which made a ghostly image. So another popular way of faking a ghost photo is through a composite or a double exposure. Essentially what you're doing there is you're taking a photo and then you're layering another photo on top of that, whether that's done in your camera or in Photoshop. For example, if you take a picture of the moon, you're going to have to expose for the sky if you want the stars and the clouds, but then the moon is going to look super bright, super detailless, and that's not what you want at all. But then if you expose for just the moon to capture all of those details, the sky and the clouds will be lost. So essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take one exposed for the moon and one exposed for the sky, and then layer those photos on top so you get an image that's full detail. It's the same thing with these ghost photos. You want something that's just going to be layered on top, that you can change the opacity just to create optimal spookiness. Let's do one more spooky ghost. This time I'm going to show you what a composite can look like. And yes, I am dressed up as a ghost for extra scariness, extra spookiness. So this image will just be a composite. I'm going to take one shot with nothing in it, and then one shot with me standing in it, and then in Photoshop we'll composite them. You want to hit the button, Sarah? If I can find where I'm going. Okay, right here, right? I left that one on as a long exposure just to see if the wind would make any sort of spookiness, but it's still going to be a composite. We're going to take now a clean shot with nothing in it, and then we're going to layer the photos. Now here we are in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do composite. Here's our clean slate, so nothing in it. Now here is our ghost. Now, honestly, all you have to do is click the ghost layer, and either in fill or opacity, just lower it. And there you go, you have a ghost. Now, sliding the opacity will change the believability of this image. Obviously, this is not a very believable image unless you've seen a ghost wearing sunglasses, but I don't think so. But that's pretty much what a composite is. Super easy. Now let's do another one. So I'm going to put on 10-second timer. Take a quick photo of this tree, and then I'm going to put my hands around it, and then we're going to composite those two photos together in Photoshop and create a ghostly image. Now it's the same thing as before. Here's a clean slate of just the tree. Here is the ghostly hand. Now on the hand layer, just lower the opacity or fill. There you go. You have a ghostly hand. And the lower you go, the more believable it is, because the harder it is to see. You could definitely pass this photo off as, hey, I took a picture of this tree, and I think there might be a ghostly hand in that photo. We're also going to attempt to do orbs right now. Orbs are essentially when dust or bugs or anything get in the way of the light source, and then you capture it onto a photo. But it could very easily just be dust or bugs. If you actually caught an orb, then I feel like video evidence would be more compelling, because then you could actually analyze it. With a photo, it's just probably dust. We're going to try to take an orb photo in front of this gravestone. And essentially what we're going to do is we have, leaves and dust and just anything that could be in the area. And we're just going to sprinkle it in front of the camera in its range where it's not going to show up, in focus. So it should create an orb. And again, this is just stuff that you would find in the area, like just the leaf debris or dirt or a falling leaf. We're going to start small, and then we're going to work up a bit bigger and see exactly what could potentially be an orb. Oh yeah, got it that time. Oh yeah, I got an orb.
Look at that, I told you. We
got an orb.
You gotta put it a little farther away.
We got a falling, yep. There we go, guys. Ghost photography. So those are orbs. That's just with random stuff we found on the ground that could potentially, when you're taking a photo in a place like this, it could potentially contaminate your photo and you just wouldn't realize it. Now let's look at some famous ghost photos and see what we can think of them. Honestly, this one just looks like a long exposure where somebody walked into frame and then walked out. This is the Sefton ghost. They say no one was there, but honestly, I think it was just a long exposure gone bad. Now, Mrs. Andrews' ghost baby. She was taking a picture of her daughter's grave when she noticed that a ghost baby had appeared. I honestly think that she just took a picture of a baby and a picture of her grave on the exact same piece of film. That's what I think's happening here. It's a double exposure. Now, this one I actually believe is a composite because it's supposed to be Abraham Lincoln with his wife Mary, but Lincoln looks a little bit weird here, and I think honestly it was just a composite slapped together. But what do you guys think? Now, I just wanted to share my own ghostly photo and my own ghostly story.
We came here one night, and my friends and I, we were using a Ouija board and we were using a spirit box. And I was just taking photos with my DSLR on night vision. I had it on a park bench beside me, and I was just taking pictures every now and then facing the front of the Sharon Temple. And I captured this image. Now, could be anything. Could be, you know, an orb or a spot like we showed you. Something could have fallen into frame, and it could have just been something that was captured on camera. However, we did this in winter. There was no leaves on the trees. There were no bugs around. I guess maybe it could have been a bird, but it was also the middle of the night. We went for extra spookiness. And yeah, we went really early in the morning. And we had the Ouija board going and the spirit box, and both of which were saying crow. The spirit box came through and said crow, and the Ouija board had said crow. I don't remember in what order. Take that as you will. But right after that happened, we captured that image of that weird ghostly thing that wasn't there a second ago, as you can see from the before photo to the after photo. So what exactly it was, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. So 100% not sure what that is. Not a fake photo, but in the comments below, let me know what you guys think, because I'm at a loss for this one.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that crap. I'd love to do more of these videos in the future. And happy Halloween, and have a good one. Peace.